We'll call the meeting to order. And let me go through the preamble. Due to ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by following the call-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For the Zoom meeting information relating to remote participation, please contact Carly M. Antonellis, Assistant Town Manager at 978-772-8220, extension 100. Let me share this, actually. I usually share the screen. So we are open and ready to go. I'm bringing up the agenda. And did anybody join in? I heard some beats. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jason.
Okay. All right. So, Jeff, I know you prioritized some things. Why don't you take control here? You lead us where you want to go.
Okay. Well, let's just start just quickly to get it out of the way. Just because we have town meeting coming up before the next meeting, this will be the final meeting before then. And as we all are aware, the spring town meeting is the main town meeting, and that's where our budget gets approved. So the budget process has worked its way through. We have been approved for basically what's a level funded budget. No increases to speak of outside of an increase. It's about 4% total. And if you looked at the what I sent today, which is the town meeting agenda, on page 7, it does outline our what our budget is. And it's a much more abbreviated version than what you have been given, which goes through all the different fiscal years for like the last 2 or 3 years. And then it explains a lot more of what's going on here. So just as a member of the public, if you're looking at our thing, we're down, I think, Department 500 for Human Services in the Parks Department. All it lists is our FY 2000 budget, which was 153,000. Then this current year budget, which is 166, and then the request for this year, which is 173,000, which is an increase of 4%, or an increase of about $7,000. So where we may run into some contention on this is based on the town manager's assessment that there's been some people calling in and wanting to know where their tax dollars are being spent with the COVID issues going on, and government services being minimalized to some degree because of that, and their taxes have not been relieved. Why is that? Where's that tax money going to? So every department has to be able to answer for what justifies their spending. So a couple of points right off the bat that you should be aware of. For our fiscal year 21, which is the current year, and our budget of 166,000, we're not going to spend nearly that much in the end. We're only at about 100,000 now, and when we open up the beach, we'll have a month of about a month of salary to pay for lifeguards, but we're going to probably be between $30,000 and $40,000 under budget for that. So that money will go to what's referred to as free cash for the town, so that will be in the town coffers. So it's not like we're spending all that money. But the 173,000, it's like, well, now we're starting all over again. And wherever we left off, if we didn't have COVID last year, we would have needed $166,000 to run our department. So this year, we're going to need another $7,000 more because of the minimum wage increase. So again, that's just a point I think that we've been over plenty of times. But I just want to make sure the commission's aware of what the public may not be aware of and what we'll have to explain if we get questioned on it. That
so Jeff,
we're bound to an increase based on 75 cents per hour increase in minimum wage, and all of our hourly wages are tied to minimum wage.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. A couple things. Obviously, if we can show what our projected savings will be from last fiscal year when we actually were operating at a lower capacity, we weren't operating full capacity, that's good. I would hope that FinCom and DOS and the town manager will have figures on hand, because I can't imagine that we're not the only town entity that's going to be coming in under budget because of whatever spend that wasn't realized because of reduced capacities. Maybe you can ask Robert that question if that's going to be the case. If not, then we can get it from Lisa and have it on our own in case we get questioned. And the other thing I think is going to help our cause is our intention of opening the beach. That's going to make people happy, I think.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that is a point that we put out there. We didn't open the beach last year. Beyond our control, doesn't matter. But we're opening it this year. And so we're going to be operating at full capacity.
Okay, thanks, Jason. So the other two items that are listed under human services that have been put into our department for bookkeeping purposes only are line items 5 and 6, which are for mislabeled, but basically for the football cheerleading group and for the baseball softball group. So I think, again, we've been through this. All commissioners should know by now where that money came from. Got put into the budget about 20 years ago. It originally was $5,000. About 15 years ago, it was requested to move that down to $4,000. It's not our department's responsibility to defend those budgets. But I wanted to put it to the commission if you wanted me to speak for those groups, if that is questioned or not.
No, I can be on hand to talk about Little League, and if a representative from Ayer Shirley Youth Football wants to join, come to the town meeting, that's their prerogative, but they're private organizations.
Okay.
And we make it where we insist always that they're private organizations. So, I don't think it's appropriate that we talk about it necessarily.
Okay, so we have plenty of representation from the baseball group among the board. If you would like,
that's just my opinion, Jeff. I don't know if anybody else has other thoughts about it. If other people feel differently, that's fine. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you get the benefits of being private. You need to be private and represent. So I would agree with that.
Okay. Is it okay if I contact the president of Air Youth Football and Cheer just to give them a heads up that they should have a representative here if they want to defend that? I have no inkling. I have not heard of any inkling that somebody will, question that. In fact, it's every year it goes through and no one ever seems to question it. But that's, again, I would hate to see it come up and then not be in a position to defend it because, any funds that go toward, youth activities, I generally support. But I just wanted to make sure where the board stood on this before I made any response at town meeting.
Who is the president? Is it still Bill?
I believe it's still Bill Manchester in Shirley.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely let him know. That's the case. And Jeff, if you want to speak on it, that's, you can definitely speak on it. If he gives you all the information of where that's going to and you feel comfortable defending it, I'm not going to stop you. Me personally, if anybody else has any thoughts and comments on it, please. I don't speak for the whole.
What have they done in the past? Have they come and represented their own organization in the past, or?
I don't believe they've ever, to my knowledge, had a representation there but I wouldn't know because it's never been brought up before.
Okay.
It's just the kind of environment this particular town meeting's fiscal year discussion may be looking for things to go after. So I'm speculating. I don't know. I have no inclination of why that might happen, but I just wanted to be prepared for it if it did.
Okay.
Okay. And anything else, any other questions about from finance? That's all I wanted to bring up for the board, just to be aware for the town meeting. So, Mr. Chairman, may I move on to the next item? Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So for incidents, we did have, just since the last meeting, one, I wouldn't even call it a major incident, but it was enough that we had to call the police. Somebody had vandalized our bleacher, one of our bleacher seats, and you can see the pictures. It was actually quite substantial, the damage. You can see what happened. They were able to break one of the bleacher boards, and once they did, they used it with leverage to bend the supporting iron beam on there. So that left it in a state of very poor disrepair and, of course, dangerous. So we addressed it instantly and were able to fix it that day. You can see following through with it, they took the debris that they got and had a little fun with it and put it on the basketball hoops. They used one of the trash barrels to get up there and then dumped everything out of the trash barrel onto the ground. So it was just, a little on the malicious side, needless, but probably, I don't have any report of who might have done it. I have some speculation, but I'm not going to bring it up in a public meeting of who that could be, just based on people who spend a lot of time in that area and who have been already kind of instigating some things. But in any case, we were able to repair it. So I just wanted to let the commission know it had been to the report to the police. The police had come down and made a report on the incident, and it has been repaired.
When did that happen, Jeff?
I believe it was a week and a half ago.
Okay.
And then the only other incident I would report is we had started this year to do an experiment by leaving the softball pitching machine in the batting cage, tarping it up, and having access to electricity outside of the concession stand to allow coaches an opportunity to just utilize it if they wanted to. So that lasted about a week before I caught some kids in there trying to monkey around with it and play with it. So unfortunately, that no longer can be the case. So we're going to either have to go back to a system where a coach will request through me to have that machine put out for them. Or one thing I was going to request from the board is to have the Air Youth Baseball and Softball group issue keys for the padlock to that small shed where we keep all of that equipment and allow them access to it with the understanding they return the key at the end of the year. I think that would pretty much take care of that situation. And then we could still leave the pitching machine in there chained up because nobody could get that out of there, but they could have access to it and wouldn't have to mess around with lugging it into the pitching cage and then lugging it back out when they're done. So that's something I wanted to run by the commission for you to discuss and see if that's something you were interested in doing.
What else is in that shed? Just like buckets of balls and like old gloves and everything.
Buckets of balls. Not much anymore. A rookie used to keep equipment in there, and they haven't been doing that recently. They've been giving it to coaches. It's a lot of unlimited baseball stuff, and I'm sure Carrie's okay with it. Allowing Air Youth Baseball and Softball coaches access to that as well. She does not have a key herself, but she could. But in old policy dictated only having keys to the officers of Air Youth Baseball and Softball and Parks commissioners and obviously Parks employees.
Well, the only tricky thing is, and I don't think it's that bad, we can just get a different lock for it. It's a common key with the equipment trailer.
It is.
Not that we don't trust any of our coaches. It's more about eventually these keys keep going, and if you never recoup them and everything. But we can always just get a different lock for that, I suppose.
My suggestion would be to do just that, to get a separate independent lock just for that shed, for that purpose.
Yeah, I guess we could do that and have Kevin put a key with the equipment bags for the travel players. Jason and Jerry, you guys are on the board, and Scott, you're a coach. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, you could probably do it by make it possible, and then, coaches could take it if they see fit, or whatever, because I don't know that every coach would necessarily want a key to it. But if it was a possibility, then I think that would definitely make things a little easier.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be an independent lock just for that shed. Give a key to the coaches that want it, and that'll work.
What you can do is do a hide a key, or one of those like you get on when the realtors put out with the combination.
Yeah.
Put a lock, put the key, screw that right onto the shed, and give them the combination. Then we don't have to worry about it. And we just change the combination at the end of the year.
It's a good idea. Yep, put the key right inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll put a sign-up sheet inside of it, so we ask them to sign it, so in case something breaks, we know who was the last one.
So that would be a combination lock, you're saying, Jason?
Yeah, those little boxes you see, like realtors will use them when they're selling a house. They'll put a little box, and it's a combination. You put a key in it. They're little like punch buttons.
Yeah.
And people will put them outside their house for a spare key in case they get locked out.
Is there any reason why we couldn't just put a combination lock on the door?
Yeah, I guess we could do that too.
It just would be easier to do.
Sure. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, if that's the preference for the board, it's a lot easier and cheaper for us to just put on a combination lock and give out the combo and have that, changed whenever, we choose to do it. So
Yeah.
that's easy enough to do as well. We even have those laying around. So.
You have them already?
Yeah, we have combo locks that we've just kept out. We have
Okay.
extra ones.
Yeah, perfect. If you already have them, let's do that.
Okay, I'll set that up, and I'll try to get that by next week, the information out, and I'll send it to the Air Youth Baseball and Softball Board and have that available for them. And then they can
Thank you.
disseminate that information to their coaches as they wish, whether they want to give that to just the heads or assistants, whatever they want to do.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, well, that'll be a nice benefit. I can even see another benefit of other things we may want to utilize that for, whether it's putting rakes in there or other things that the coaches may want to use for other activities. So excellent.
Well, I mean, they need to have proper rake training before we give them access to rakes.
Yeah, I'm laughing, but no, there is something about that. You're right. But no, we will. We can just, once we get it started, we might find there's other uses for having that available. So that's good. So if I can move on to project updates. So we've been doing our regular spring cleanups that we've been doing a lot of seeding, just raking. The group that came out from the baseball and softball group that did their Saturday cleanup Saturday was very successful. We got a lot of stuff done. And thank you to the commissioners who jumped in on that as well, and their children. I think we had the Copeland entire extended family out there at one point, so that was pretty funny. But that went really well, got a lot done. So we're still doing a little more of that, but fields are ready to go at this point. They're actually game ready if we wanted to, especially the softball fields are looking really good outside of the snow we're supposed to get tomorrow, but we'll see how that works out. But everything's on track for that. So we also have been working on the high school field and have those ready to go. That's part of our obligation for shared facility use. And we've held up our end of that by getting their fields in pretty good shape, in my opinion. think we're in good shape with that. So that's great. And we've also just finished, as of yesterday, painting the Ayer Shirley soccer fields in Shirley. So we just painted those lines yesterday. So they're all set to go. And we got all our foul lines down. So everything's looking good. We're way ahead of schedule just because the weather's been so good. And that's been a nice change of pace for us. So I'm really happy with that.
Are we running behind? Are we experiencing any dryness down there? Are we able to stay ahead of that, or is it kind of dusty already?
It's definitely drier than it normally would be, which is a benefit right now, but could lead to issues later on down the road. The forecast is calling for some rain over the weekend, and that's going to help, I'm sure. So we'll see what that does. In fact, it'll be a nice test for the new rain garden that's near the monument to see what that does, and also then rehabbed all the fields to see how they puddle up with a substantial amount of rain for the first time. So it'll be a good test. I'm actually looking forward to seeing what this run of water is going to do for us. So that should be good. And that's all I have.
Are we able?
What?
Are we able to run sprinklers, or are we not?
We're legally able to. I haven't activated them yet. So
Yeah, it's too cold. Okay.
we do have some issues with some of our sprinklers, and I'm going to be working with our service technician, Brookview, to take a look at some of the issues that we're having. We actually still have money left over from the paving project for the perimeter path, which led to the problems that we have in the first place. So it's a justifiable expense to use those fundings to work on that. And unfortunately, they weren't able to due to COVID and other reasons, they weren't able to do anything in the fall, but they said that they should be able to help us out in the spring. So we're going to be trying to set that work up. One final thing with project updates, it's not actually our project, but it's the DPW is going to be doing some snaking of drains, the big drains, the sewer pipes, and they have to get big equipment in to do it. You might have even seen them doing it around town already. It's a town-wide project. The DPW is hiring a contractor to do. Part of those lines run along Grove Pond in the park. So I'm meeting tomorrow with the town engineer and the service to try to figure out a way to get those vehicles, if there is a way, to get them onto our fields without crushing our irrigation systems or destroying our fields with ruts. So I'll be working on that tomorrow and meeting with them to go over that stuff. So we'll kind of see how that goes. And that is it for project updates, unless anyone has any questions.
Heidi just joined us, so we can do the beach now.
Okay. Excellent.
Hi, Heidi.
Heidi, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Yep.
So if I can just start and then you jump in where we've been leading things. We have submitted our permit application to the Board of Health. They haven't given it back to us, but they gave every indication that they're going to accept it and give us a permit. We've also submitted a food service application to sell concessions, even though we've chosen not to do so to start with. We just wanted to submit an application in case things started showing enough clearance that, and we had things under control enough that we felt comfortable now selling water or anything else we might want to sell. So to do that, we had to apply for the permit now. So we have that application in as well. Aside from that, we're doing a lot of maintenance down at the beach to get things in order. We're not going to order sand because it appears we have enough sand if we just landscape and till it up and put it in a good way. So we're going to be working on that, getting the bathrooms cleaned up. Well, we're going to be seeding the entire area next week. So that should be all germinating and coming in just in time for the season. So we're looking forward to getting that area nice and clean. We've already got the leaf removal done. So we're in pretty good shape with that. The docks, Heidi's going to set up something with the guards to come down there, and she's going to be talking in a minute about meeting with the guards and how that's coming along. The one thing that we do want to talk to the board about is swim lessons, and we do have some hesitation about offering swim lessons for this season. This is independent of the decision to open the beach. This is something we also offer as well annually, the swim lessons that I think everyone's familiar with. But due to a number of reasons, with the COVID situation being what it is, and our challenges of trying to open the beach under those conditions and some of the difficulties of offering swim lessons, Heidi and I have come to the conclusion that we would prefer not to offer swim lessons this season. However, we do want to put it to the board, and if the board is so inclined that you want us to offer swim lessons, we will try to find a way to make that happen and look at it further. But we wanted to put it to the board tonight to get that, get a decision on that, whether you wanted to have swim lessons or not. And if you did, then we're going to have to start getting our swim lesson applications ready to go. So I'm going to turn it over to Heidi to follow up on those points.
Hi. Yeah, so just to continue with what Jeff had been saying, that we had just trying to plan for the summer and to keep everything safe and, you know, to keep everybody distanced. It kind of seemed counterproductive to then say, you know, everybody's going to have this social distancing, except for the times when we have swim lessons, when everybody's going to be in the water in each other's faces. So that's why we were looking to your input, should you have any about that. But those are, I think, our main concern about it. I know it's something that the town has come to, you know, expect and appreciate. And we get that. So, but that was, I think, our biggest concern with swim lessons, especially considering that we weren't open last year. I kind of thought that people would maybe understand that a little bit this year.
Heidi, I'm sorry, you're kind of breaking up there a little bit. What's the biggest concern with swim lessons?
I just
want to
better?
make sure we get it out there. Yeah.
Can you hear me better?
Yep.
Is that better? Okay. Basically, with trying to keep everybody with trying to keep consistent with the messaging of we're following all the guidelines and trying to be, it seemed a little inconsistent to say we're going to follow all of the social distancing that we need to and maintain some safety and keep everything clean. But then on the other hand, we're going to throw, 8 kids in the water all together with a swim instructor to have, to have lessons. If it seems like something that everybody feels strongly that we should still be able to offer, we can, we'll make every effort to do that. But that was why we wanted to see what the board felt about that. That was pretty much our main concern. It's just about how difficult it was. We didn't open last year, but then in trying to make sure that this year everything was just kind of perfect to be open, to be safe. That was our biggest concern.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So with the swim instruction, especially with the younger kids, you need the instructor on top of them pretty much, right?
Yeah, and most places do it. Can you still hear me okay? Okay. Most places you do it with a face shield because you're obviously not wearing masks in the water. So they've been doing it with a face shield, and a lot of places now have had, they're doing private lessons. So over the winter, a lot of the pools had indoor private lessons, but that was also pools were completely different because they're chlorinated. So it was a whole different thing. So last year, basically in the summer, nobody had lessons. So, but then over the winter, they kind of started slowly having swim lessons again with the instructor with a face shield on. And I think they limited the number of kids. So, this is the first year back. And I think a lot of other places, I'm not sure what they're doing actually, the outdoor, the local ponds, whether they're having swim lessons. I know a lot of them are having camps. But we wanted to give the impression that we are going to follow all the rules and we're going to be safe. And we just wanted to be consistent with that, at least just for this year. Yeah.
I mean, you can make the point that not offering swim lessons leads to unsafe, is sort of unsafe inherently, because teaching people how to swim is safe. But I mean, they can catch up, right? Can we catch them all up next year?
Yeah, I mean, there's other options. We can be creative about this year, maybe, and do, if people feel strongly that we want to do something with swim lessons, we could find some way to be creative, have smaller lessons, have like maybe a water safety kind of instructional type of thing that emphasized water safety as opposed to like a swim lesson with 12 kids in it.
Would it be,
I mean, we can certainly think of other ways to involve.
like, at that point, we would probably have, or at least have the possibility of having the instructors vaccinated. Is it possible to offer like family lessons or something like semi-private or something like that? Or is that just cost prohibitive?
No, not necessarily. It would be more of a scheduling issue at that point. I mean, yeah, no, that's a good idea. I'm sure it would be really popular. So it would be just a matter of getting a schedule together. The instructors most of them are over 16. So, hopefully they will want to be vaccinated, and hopefully they will be. There's also the kids won't be. So but I don't know what the feeling of most of the parents around is, and whether they're, they want their kids to be in a program like this, or not.
I could chime in just one point on this. I've talked to the town manager about, Heidi and I both have actually, about the ability to require an employee to have a vaccination, and you absolutely cannot. So that's, I don't know if all the commissioners are aware of that, but that cannot be a condition of employment. So we have to assume that an instructor does not have a vaccination, just because we don't have the ability to even request or ask if they do or not.
I mean,
Sorry, Jerry, were you going to ask a question?
Yeah. I was going to ask, just from a timing standpoint, is this something, Heidi, that we would have to like put into motion now, or can we just focus our kind of delivery to the Board of Health on getting the beach open first, and then maybe do something at a scaled down thing? That's one question. And the second kind of question was, does it make sense to maybe send out some type of survey, to see if anybody even had interest of doing it, of having swim lessons?
Mm-hmm. Yes, those are both options. Yes, it is something that I need to move on really, really, really soon to get everything in motion to have the lessons. And yes, we need the permit from the Board of Health to be able to know that we're going to be open. But yes, as far as getting the instructors together and getting the forms ready, that's something that I usually have already, kind of started on. And yeah, I mean, yes, we could do, like a Survey Monkey and see where people are. I think, I don't know if people have already started to sign up for the other camps, but that's another good marker of where people are as far as wanting their kids to do things. So if everybody, if everyone in town has signed up.
I would disagree with the concept of this survey. And the reason why is the decision to have swim lessons should be based on whether or not we think it's something that's safe and an operation that we can do. I'm sure that there would be people to sign up for it, and if we had it, and I don't think it's a matter of economics or anything like that. It's more a matter of whether we can safely do it and whether we won't be overwhelmed with having to do that on top of everything else that we're going to have to do to maintain a safe and compliance operation at the beach. So to send out a survey, I think you're offering the presumption that you think it's okay to do. It's just we need to know if people want to do it or not. I think the decision should be based on something prior to that knowledge.
Yeah. Okay.
I think ultimately there's been so many decisions made around COVID without trusting the people that are delivering it. That I mean, my inkling would be to defer to the people that are delivering this service. And if you think that it's safe, then I will completely trust that. And if you don't, then I completely trust that as well. So I mean, that's kind of where I stand.
Mhm.
Sarah, what do you think? Okay, maybe she missed that. Our swim lessons, they follow like Red Cross protocol or some sort of program that you have to do
Yeah.
certain things in year 1, certain things in year 2, and everything.
Yeah, it's a Red Cross program. Yep.
So it would be kind of hard to do an abbreviated version of it. Basically, we'd have to
Right.
kind of come up with it ourselves.
Right. I mean, it would differ from this. There are certain things that you have to be able to have checked off your list to pass the level. So in order to fit in with the Red Cross guidelines. Yeah. I mean, we could, limit the number of participants, but I don't know how well that would go over either.
It's hard. You open it. This is the type of thing where you open it and it's hard to limit it. It's just like youth sports.
Yep.
You don't want to leave people out because it's not just, to me, it's not an activity necessarily. Like, you can have some miserable days and you go to swim lessons. Like, swim lessons aren't necessarily fun for kids per se. They're important. You got to learn how to swim. To me, it's more about the safety and being able to learn how to swim so you can have fun and swim later on. But if you open it up, then it's going to be kind of hard to cap it without facing some backlash.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't know how big of so there's no masks in the water. And I'm assuming that at this point, all of the sports, you can wear a mask at soccer, you can, which is just another factor of it. At least right now, I can't say where things are going to be in a couple of months. I know that the trend is sort of COVID is more like plateauing rather than going down. So I'm going to go on the assumption that basically things will be more or less okay to do this summer, but I'm hoping.
Can we not plan on doing swim lessons as we normally do, and then see how things go, and then maybe put together something like we were talking about, just like a basic water safety type course, a couple water safety type courses that we don't charge for. We just open it up to whatever and see if we can do that like later in the summer.
Right.
Would that be something we could put together?
Right. Yeah. I think it's good to be creative. Everybody has had to sort of be creative and think outside the box as far as getting people to learn things and do things. So I'm completely open to thinking of something, an alternative. Yeah.
Heidi, you had actually brought that up to me as a possibility when we met last week. And so we did have that as a possible consideration. Obviously, it's based on opening up, having the operation run smoothly, getting through those first couple of weeks that were warned, make sure you do this, you're going to get lots of complaints, so on and so forth. Have 3 or 4 extra people on hand, all these things that we're being, warned about by different overseeing entities. So we'd want to get through all that stuff and then possibly be able to offer, at that point we could say, we could do this. And you could actually offer swim lessons in the second half of the season at that point if you wanted to, or something like Heidi or Jason, you guys just both came to the same conclusion. You could offer some type of water safety thing that you could put together. But again, I wouldn't recommend doing any of those until you get through those first couple of weeks and are running your operation smoothly, and that you're on track to have a season that you can manage without having to then try to figure out how to do something that seems a bit counterintuitive to what you're trying to do.
Heidi, you speaking?
I was not speaking right now, but yes, no, but yes, I agree with what Jeff said. It's something that if it turns out that everything is fantastic and there's a way to do it, then we can always absolutely revisit that or think of, some other way to involve the community in water safety.
Everything is going to be fantastic.
Probably will be. Yeah.
Scott, do you have any thoughts or questions?
No, I just thought waiting till June, July, August down the road would be a better idea. See where everything's at by then, if that's possible.
Yes, Scott, I do believe that is possible to do that, to actually, monitor things. And then if things are really looking up and we can manage it, that's great. The other thing we talked about, Heidi and myself, is if we were not going to offer swim lessons, then we would also seek out local areas who are and offer them as a referral to anybody who is inquiring about swim lessons. So we would try to put that together as well, so that we wouldn't be leaving people high and dry. We would be giving them an opportunity to seek out other swim lessons that are local. Now, if there's no other local swim lessons, then obviously our decision is pretty spot on because nobody's doing it else as well as we are. But we would want to have anybody who has an interest in swim lessons find something that may fill that gap for them.
Right. Very good. Well, I think we kind of have it with swim lessons, right? We're gonna see where we're at, but we're not gonna plan on starting it.
Okay.
Okay. And Heidi, anything else that you wanted to add for the beach?
I think we're in pretty good shape for staff. We might need to hire one more guard, maybe one, and then one more part-time. But I think we're in pretty good shape for staffing. And looking to open Memorial Day weekend for weekends, and then starting, I think Ayer gets out of school June 14th. So that's when we would open for the summer.
So we'll be sending out updates to the board on a regular basis about swim lessons over the next week or so. So you can be looking for those, and feel free to email myself or Heidi if you have any questions or concerns about what's going on with the beach opening. And that's all I have for the beach.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks, Heidi.
Thanks. Thank you, everybody. Excellent.
Have a good night.
Thank
Unless
you.
you want to hang around for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for your
Thanks,
support.
Heidi.
All right. Take care, you guys. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, Jeff, what do you want to do? Summer camps?
I'll bang through these last couple things pretty quickly and then leave it to
All right.
the board to go on with other items such as soccer and anything else we're doing. For scheduling for the fields for facility use, we've been working with the Ayer Youth Baseball and Softball group, and they've been giving us very good updates. The board, I think, is very active. I don't think I've seen the board this active in a long time for so many members jumping in and doing stuff. So that's great. So they're getting their schedules together for baseball, softball, rookie, everything. So we should be able to get that together relatively quickly with them. They will need to put together a practice schedule once the game schedules come out. And that's going to be, that's always a challenge. And I'm willing to work with a board member if the board can let me know who that person will be to start doing that scheduling.
We'll do it. It'll be our annual. We'll be picking up our annual tradition again, Jeff. Maybe we can.
It's you.
We'll get some coffees and do it on the pig. Yeah, one more year.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. I won't say what we do there, but it's really fun for whoever wants to do it after that. So we're also getting a lot of school applications for use of our fields, which is ironic because we were told last fall that most of the schools would be all set and have their own fields to go. But Immaculate Heart of Mary and Harvard does want to come back, and they are, and I will need approval from the board for this because their application is a feed application. What we've done in the past with them is they have paid a flat fee of $500 to come after school to use our field for practice and then do a handful of games. It has very little impact on our field and has zero impact on our schedule for other Ayer use or events. So that has been the price
Jeff,
over the years.
Can you just give a little bit more background on that? Because I don't think any of, other than Sarah, I don't think those other guys don't really know who they are and how we got involved with them.
Certainly. Immaculate Heart of Mary is a private school. It's a Catholic school run in Harvard. And it's a very small school. I believe their entire school population is under 200. And it's for grades, I believe, 6 through 12. So it's very small, but they do have a few sports programs. And one of those is baseball. They don't have a softball program. They've tried a little bit, but haven't had much luck. So they do have a high school level softball or baseball team. And for the last, I believe it's 8 years now, they've been coming to Ayer since they started their program to just have a home field because they don't have a field to use in Harvard. Obviously, the only field that exists in Harvard is used by the Harvard team. So they're actually a very good group to work with. They're all monks who oversee the school, the brothers, and they're just terrific people to deal with. So we've had a really good relationship with them. And, they paid, which it's not a huge amount of money, but we found the $500 to be a fair amount for what they do, which is very, again, it has no impact on our use. We're not displacing anybody for them. They recognize, and they're told this year, as they are every year, that our school teams have absolute priority, even if they have a schedule and the school has a makeup game, say, they have to get bumped for that. So that's, it has, again, zero impact on our programs. So that's what we've done with them over the years. They keep on talking about creating their own field and building their own field. They have some land, but they haven't got to it yet. So they want to be with us at least one more year. So I would request that the board accepts their application, and the suggested fee I would request to be $500 as a one-time fee for their use.
So we'll need a motion for this.
So what was the name of the school again, Jeff?
It's Immaculate Heart of Mary, IHM.
All right. So I motion that we approve IHM's application with the stated fee of $500 for this spring.
So moved.
second
Any
that
second?
Second.
I'll
Is
second.
that, I'm sorry, Scott Copeland, second? Okay, Copeland, sorry, I mixed up your names. Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, so we'll do roll call vote. Jason Leone,
Yes.
Jerry Amenta,
Yes.
Sarah Gibbons,
Yes.
and Scott Copeland,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I will get that working. And then the last thing I have for field use and scheduling is that the school use for our fields, we're also going to get the high school softball teams requested to use our field for their preseason practice, and their season won't start this year until May due to MIA rules, the spring season starting late this year and then running late. So they'd like to use our field. The reason why is because they cannot practice with JV due to COVID restrictions. And they're also having some Harvard girls join them. So they thought Crony Park would be a good in-between spot for them to go right after school to do. So they were going to be practicing with us and then coming down. So that's a school use. We don't need a motion on that. That's part of our shared facility use thing for that. But obviously, if the commission has any objection or concerns about that, then it's a good time to voice them. The middle school will be playing 6 games down there, 5 for the softball team, every Thursday pretty much starting in mid-May. So one thing that we'll have to restrict them on is their curfew for any games that we might be having on there. The baseball team won't have a curfew because there's nothing that's going to be on there on Thursdays, but the softball team will have to be curfewed for innings not to go past 5:30. So that's something I've already talked to the AD about fulfilling. So we're in good shape with those, unless anybody has any questions about that. I know Commissioner Leone knows the middle school coach pretty well.
Yes, I do. So it should be, but yeah, and that's, I like that they don't have any conflict on that game because the curfew is going to be tough, but sounds good.
The curfew's always been there, and we also at our soccer meeting tonight, asked the coaches that if they are running late on that softball on the Thursdays, just to kind of be patient and we'll try to work it out.
Yeah, because even if they don't start an inning after 5:30, a middle school softball inning sometimes can run longer than half an hour, but it shouldn't. So we'll work with them. It's over the years, it's worked out fine. It just, we all got to get along in this stuff. So Sarah, I was going to talk to you about that too, just to make sure that you talk to the coaches, so you already have. So that's great. And then as far as
can we put the fields? Can we put the soccer group practicing on field 6 on Thursday so there's no issue?
Oh, there is, because there's a baseball game on field 6.
Okay. I thought there was 1 baseball game and 5 softball games.
No, there's 6 baseball games and 5 softball games.
Oh, okay. All right. I misunderstood then. There's
1 game that there's no softball.
Okay. Yeah.
The school they're
Okay.
playing that day has no softball. So, and then as far as our soccer, I think we're all set with that. So I think Sarah's going to be talking about soccer in a second, but that's all I had for my priorities.
Okay. So let's talk about soccer.
I think everything is in good shape to begin. We met with coaches for both U6 and U8 this evening on Zoom. Kind of separated teams, went over the COVID restrictions and everything. And we are scheduled to start May 1st, which is that first Saturday after the April vacation. We did talk to Jeff about them practicing that week prior, starting on Thursdays. And we mentioned to the coaches about the softball conflict and just being patient on those Thursdays that there may be games. So at this point, coaches will be reaching out to players and we should be good to go. As far as the older kids, they will start this coming Saturday. And like I mentioned last time, that we are just, again, this season doing an in-town Ayer Shirley co-ed league by grade level. So we should be good to go.
And Jason Leone, I don't have anything for basketball right now unless you do.
Nope, no changes since last time.
And then the last thing I would like to talk about, Mr. Chair, if I could, is just summer camps very briefly, just for a minute. So we've got the basketball stuff pretty set to go. We'll be sending those forms out to soccer or basketball kids pretty soon. I've been in contact with the soccer coaches. They're both very enthusiastic about doing a camp this year. Jerry, I started copying you on those too, just because I thought you would have an interest in that too. So we'll be talking to them next week, probably, just to kind of get that worked out. I've talked to the football coach, and he ironically doesn't want to do a camp with us. He wants to do one through the high school on his own. So that's fine with me, but I told him he should get in touch with the Ayer Shirley Youth Football president just to kind of get that underway, give him knowledge of that, because that camp has always been used for the football group as part of their conditioning. So we'll want to do that.
They have a different coach this year, right? New coach?
He's the coach they hired last year, and he's back again this year. Yeah, they actually had an abbreviated spring season this year. So, in fact, I think they're currently playing. So, everything's up in the air, right? So, but anyway, he's a good guy, and I told him that we can help him through advertising and whatnot. But his preference is to do a camp through the high school. And then we're going to be setting up our baseball, softball camps. Once again, I'd like to offer those just through the Parks Department at no charge. Just because we don't have a way to get it running and moving. Maybe starting next year, if we want to try to do something with a hired coach and a fee. But it's been a very successful program, offering it at no charge for a 3-day quick clinic. So that's what I would like to do again. And the last one that we're considering is the Little Kickers one. Sarah and I have been talking about that. Jerry, I wanted to get your thoughts on that offline a little more, but not right now, just as things go along, whether or not that's something we want to offer. We were not able to offer Little Kickers as a soccer program this year. We've had quite a few requests for it, so there's obviously demand for it, but very similar to the swim lesson reasoning to not offer it this year. So we will be looking toward that over the next month or two, whether that's something we can offer as part of our camps. And that's all I got.
Okay, thanks. So next meeting date will be the week of the 17th of May, I guess. Whatever we can get.
Okay. Thursdays are generally the best, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, Thursday of the month would be sweet if we could get back on that track. Other than that, I think we're writing in Jason Leone for another term for park commissioner, whether he likes it or not.
Oh, I like it.
So-
I just missed the deadline. So I'll accept all write-ins.
Great. Anybody else have anything else in the last minute? All right, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Any second? Awesome. Okay. All in favor? Jason,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
and I'm also aye, and we're adjourned. Have a good night, everyone.